If there's any Broadway show that has debuted in this century that's become a household name, it's got to be Hamilton, an American musical. The record-smashing, medium-redefining runaway hit is a legitimate cultural phenomena. And if you caught the current run, then you had the pleasure of seeing Kendyl Sayuri Yokoyama as the show's female lead, Eliza Hamilton. And if you're Japanese American, in addition to being moved by her outstanding performance, you might have also noticed her very Nikkei name, and maybe wondered about her heritage and its connection to her work. We at Nichibei News certainly did, so we caught up with Yokoyama to ask her about just that. Hi, Kendall. Welcome to the Nichibei Cafe.
Hello!
It turns out her craft and career have a profound connection to both her family history and the Japanese American community, and she was eager to talk about
Amazing. And I don't get asked that as much as I would like, so this is perfect.
So we started at the beginning, delving into her family background.
Yes, I grew up in Ventura County, which is a little bit north of LA. I am fourth generation Yonsei on my mom's side. I think I'm technically Sansei on my dad's side. Both my Bachan and Jichan were born in the States, grew up in Japan. I think the term is Kibei. On my mom's side, though, both of my Bachan and Jichan were born and raised in Hawaii. My Bachan was from Kapa, Kauai, and then my Jichan was from Hilo on the Big Island. That's why I feel very Yonsei, I feel.
Her family, it turns out, were really pivotal in cultivating her love of the arts.
So my parents love the arts. My mom, she's an optometrist now, but before that she wanted to be a dancer. My dad is a big movie buff. They were all very artistic in their own way and never really pursued it. Except for my Jichan that owned the movie theater, I suppose.
What she's referring to here is not just any movie theater. Kendall's grandfather, for a time, owned the famous Kokusai Theater in the Crenshaw. Constructed around 1952, the theater was originally the first African-American operated theater in Los Angeles, before becoming the Kokusai in the 70s, when it screened Japanese films for the JA community, making it a potent symbol of the overlapping Black and Japanese American history of that neighborhood.
When I found that out later in life, I was like, again, wow. I always thought that this theater thing came about in such a random way, but actually it's always been there. Deeply rooted in my family.
But the biggest thing connecting her career and her heritage might be traditional Japanese dance.
But the way that we tied ourselves to our roots, specifically on my mom's side, is that we have a love of Japanese dancing. And my mom, she got her natori, which is a professional Japanese dancer degree, and now she got her teaching degree, literally just last week. So I'm so proud of her, and that's how we really tied ourselves to our Japanese heritage.
Was that your first exposure to dance?
Actually, yes. I would say yes. I've been doing it since I can ever remember. Me and my twin sister Jordan have been doing that since we were little. Like the little dances that all the little girls do, to then getting to do the older girl dances later in life. We did Nisei Week a lot. That's where I think I met Tamlin Tomita. My mom encouraged us to go get her signature. I only stopped because I went off to college.
Kendall's family, though, and the Asian American community, had a role in introducing her to Broadway-style musical theater as well.
My parents, they introduced me to Les Mis, 10th anniversary concert version of it, where Lea Salonga was playing Eponine. I wanted to listen to that in the car on the way back from school. I always assumed that Eponine was supposed to be Asian.
This may have had an influence on Kendall being comfortable taking on roles not explicitly written as Asian.
My breakthrough role in theater was probably when I played Belle in Beauty and the Beast. It was at a community theater, High Street Arts Center in Moore Park, that I love, and I will always scream their name to the top of my lungs because they really gave me a lot of opportunities to be in a lead role and to be seen and to maybe make heads turn as to why there's an Asian Belle, but why not?
A particularly important role for Yokoyama was Peggy Maruyama in Allegiance, a musical based on George Takei's experience of incarceration during World War II that connected Kendall to her own family history.
My Jichan, he's from Hiroshima. During the war, my Jichan came back to the States with his family, he was incarcerated. He didn't talk too much about the incarceration. The ireicho that came out at the Japanese American National Museum in LA, that it says that he both went to Jerome and Tule Lake.
Do you know anything about how he ended up in Tule Lake specifically?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm assuming that they said no and no, or at least their parents. My Jichan was not of age. He turned 18 right, and he enlisted right when the war ended. I hope one day they'll find some documentation of who said no and no.
While her maternal grandfather in Hawaii was not incarcerated, his wartime experience connects to the play as well.
And my Jichan, he served in the war. He was part of the 442nd Regiment and part of the MIS, and he has amazing stories. My aunt has a memoir of basically everything before he died.
Today, Yokoyama is best known, of course, for her role in Hamilton. And while the musical's popularity is universal, it has had several Asian American cast members, and Yokoyama has found meaningful opportunities to connect with them.
We had an Asian New Year's Day, so all of the Asians brought a food. It was our George Washington, Marcus Choi, and he brought in a lot of yummy Korean dishes. I brought ozoni. That was my first time making it alone, and I called my bachan, this is what I do, right? I do this, this, and that, and this ingredient, but if they don't have this at H Mart, what else can I get? Because there was only H Mart in Chicago, like no Mitsuwa, which is so sad for me. But that was exciting for me to show my Japanese heritage in that way.
Yokoyama isn't the only JA cast member. She's now joined by Sabrina Imamura and Tayako Makero, and she's aware of what their presence on stage means for the larger community.
And that's a new experience for me too. I've always been the only Japanese American in Hamilton, and now we have 3. I think the visibility that all 3 of us understand that Hamilton brings when all 3 of us are on stage is something that we have talked about and that we've shared, and that's been the most rewarding part, is to be able to meet the little Japanese American kids and adults that are so excited to see me, and that's more than that's always what I wanted, and I'm just so grateful I get to do that for other people.
Nichibe was grateful for the opportunity to talk to Yokoyama, and we hope you all have a chance to catch her in a performance of Hamilton during the current tour.